Hi, I'm Brad Robinson, and Morgan is not able to join me today. She's watching our 1-year-old son. Today I want to talk to you, though, about why the betrayed partner struggles without answers. If you've been in a situation where you're healing from broken trust and healing from infidelity, you know how crucial this usually is for the betrayed partner. It's really rare, according to studies and my own experience in working with couples, for somebody who's been betrayed to not have questions and then not to struggle with those answers. But also, it's really rare for somebody who's been unfaithful to not struggle with being honest, to not struggle with trusting the process, because there's a lot of fear of how much is too much. There's a lot of sometimes challenges in remembering details of things that they're really ashamed of. And sometimes it's really easy to get into a negative cycle. So I want to get into that with you today, because the biggest thing that we often hear from people who come to our workshops is that we hear over and over again that the betrayed aren't asking for details to punish or control their mate who had the affair. They're asking because their mind won't rest without answers. So betrayal leaves them feeling confused, unsafe, and questioning what was real. And without clear and consistent truth, their imagination fills in the gaps, trust does stay broken, and healing ultimately stalls. Trust rebuilding stalls, the ability to forgive stalls as well. And at the same time, they don't necessarily want to know every single detail. Some do, most don't, but they do want to know a lot of information. And they want the kind of honesty that restores safety instead of causing more harm. So over time, what we've learned is that these needs follow clear patterns. So what I'm going to get into with you today are the most common things that the betrayed partner has told us that they want the unfaithful to understand about why the details of the affair matter so much, why they struggle without answers. And hopefully you're not in this situation, because it is a challenging situation when you're in it, and there's definitely ways that we can work through it. That's part of why we have these workshops, is we help couples work through their negative cycle. So the betrayed want the unfaithful to know the details matter to them, and usually they would say certain things. Once you kind of peel back a little bit of the layers, the betrayed want the unfaithful to know certain things. And the first thing they would say is, I want you to know my reality shattered after the betrayal. When I found out about the affair, it didn't just hurt my feelings, it broke my whole world. One day I thought I knew my life and my relationship. The next day, nothing felt real anymore. I asked for details because I'm trying to understand what actually happened. I'm not trying to punish you. I'm trying to make sense of a life that suddenly stopped making sense to me. So that's the first thing they would say. The second thing they would say is, my brain is looking for safety, not control. After the betrayal, my brain went into survival mode. I feel on edge and scared, even when I don't want to be. When I ask questions, I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to feel safe again. I don't know what not knowing feels dangerous. Not knowing feels like there's danger right around the corner. So I need these details to help me calm down and breathe. The third thing they would say is that the bond between us is really hurt. It's really fractured. Our relationship was supposed to be a safe place for me. When the betrayal happened, that safety was damaged. My questions are a way of asking, can this relationship ever feel safe again? That doesn't mean I'm weak. It means I'm human and I care about connection. It means I want to know I'm safe, which is a reasonable question, reasonable expectation. The fourth thing they would say is that my thoughts won't stop because I'm traumatized. I replay things in my head over and over, even when I don't want to. That's not because I enjoy it. It's because my brain is stuck on what it doesn't understand. When details are missing, my imagination fills in the blanks, and it usually makes things worse. You being honest with me helps quiet my mind. And that's really tricky for people who've been unfaithful, because they feel like, you know what, being honest, actually, I've seen it blow up in my face. What you do know has hurt you so much. How can I trust this process? So we're going to get into next week. We're going to get into what the unfaithful struggle with when discussing the details of their infidelity. But right now we're just focused on how the betrayed feel and how they struggle without answers. The next thing they would say, the betrayed would say, is that I need meaning. not just apologies. So meaning is a fancy word, is for I need to understand what I mean to you. I need to know why this happened. Apologies are good. Remorse is good, obviously. But the betrayal didn't just break trust. It broke my understanding of us, is what most betrayed partners would say. I find myself asking who you were during that time and what our relationship really meant. Details help me understand the pain instead of staying lost in confusion. Some of these details for people who've been unfaithful, they're kind of confusing. Like, well, how does this help you? Like if I said this, I used this reference a couple weeks ago. Like if I turned left when I went to their house instead of right, what does that mean? That doesn't make any sense on how that's important. So sometimes people who've been unfaithful struggle with giving answers, with understanding the significance of some of those details, because it doesn't make sense. But for people who've been betrayed, it all makes sense. It's all those questions make sense, is what I'm trying to say. Those questions, they all come from a place that's very rational for the betrayed. And even though the unfaithful partner, they don't understand it. So there's this natural tension that's there. And when there's tension, the natural default reaction of somebody who's been betrayed is to just assume they're not getting the truth. You're resistant, you're quiet, you don't care. They can't give the benefit of the doubt anymore, which is something that most couples do when they feel secure, when they feel like they can trust, and they feel like, okay, maybe you're just having a bad day. But after betrayal gets discovered, things that are more neutral get interpreted in a negative light. And that's part of why they ask these questions. Like, so when you're quiet, what are you really thinking? What are you thinking about when you're not talking to me? What are you thinking about when, we're making love? What are you thinking about when this is happening or that is happening? And the more that we can fill in the gaps about what we're feeling and thinking, as somebody who's broken trust, it helps the betrayed feel relaxed. It helps take away fear. Because the real goal that we're trying to do, usually we don't think about it in terms like this, is what we're really trying to do is eliminate fear. We're trying to take away fear. And we want the kind of fear that shows up even when there's no stimulus, meaning there's not a snake in the room. It's normal for everybody to be afraid when there's a snake in the room. That's wise to be afraid when there's a snake in the room, and especially if it's a poisonous snake. However, the kind of fear that we don't want is when I feel fear once that snake is removed. And what the betrayed are asking for is, help me understand. Help me work through this. Help me not be afraid. And some of the answers are hard to hear. Some of the answers are hard to digest. Sometimes there's more than one affair, more than one episode of infidelity. So when people are asking these questions, they're looking for predictability. They want to know that they can trust again and they can be safe again. They want to know that their choices aren't taken from them. So let me go on. Number 6 of why the betrayed struggle with answers. The 6th thing that they would say is that the truth gives me my power back. One of the hardest parts of this is that I didn't get to choose what was happening. The truth gives me some control back. I need details so I can decide my boundaries, my next steps with us, or maybe if I need to move out, or what the future looks like, and whether healing together is even possible. I can't heal based on guesses. That's really important. The 7th thing they would say is, I don't want every detail, just the helpful ones. A lot of people get stuck in this. They want to know every detail. But the average person who's been betrayed would say, I know not every detail helps. I'm not asking for graphic or painful images. Some information is healing for me. Some just hurts more. What I really want is what helps me feel safer and more grounded again. So give me that kind of information. Here's the problem with that kind of a statement that the betrayed partner can make, is we don't always know what's going to be grounding and healing. And that's where people who've been unfaithful can struggle with being honest and transparent, because they think sometimes, like, I am giving you that information, and I thought I was holding back something that might be more painful or might be burdening you more. So they kind of look at it as an act of compassion. Okay, I'm not going to share this with you because it'll help you feel better if I don't give that particular thing. But sometimes for people who are betrayed, they look at that as like, you're hiding again. There's more trickle truth, that kind of thing. And so People who've been betrayed, they want the details, the helpful details. It's hard sometimes just to discern what those helpful details really are. But as a general rule of thumb, you do want to stay away from painful sexual details, graphic sexual details. And if you've gotten into that trap where you've already known some of those and you've discovered those, there's trauma therapy that helps you work through that. Because that's one of the first things that people who've been traumatized, that I'll work with them on to help them heal, is those graphic sexual details. The 8th thing that somebody who's been betrayed would say is, I need honesty without cruelty. I need you to be honest, but I don't need you to be harsh. The truth without cruelty means no blaming, no minimizing what happened, and no, again, unnecessary details. These conversations are about building safety and trust, not tearing each other down, not talking about how beautiful this person was, how awesome they were in bed, not comparing my body with their body, or my age with their age, or my income level with their income level, not comparing me with them. Don't get into the realm of cruelty, which is what people can do who've been unfaithful, especially if they are angry and resentful and they will want to twist the knife. Sometimes people can be passive aggressive and do that. The 9th thing that the betrayed partner who's struggling with answers would say is that being transparent doesn't mean telling me it all at once. Sometimes it means giving me answers to real questions in a way that protects my emotional safety. The goal isn't more pain, it's repair. On the flip side, a lot of people would say, give it to me all at once. Don't just... Basically what you need to do with the information I'm giving you is you need to talk about this. What's best for us? Is it rip the Band-Aid off and get it all out there? Or is it get it out there in increments? Because what I'm sharing with you today may be the best information. It may be the worst information. So you need to sit down and talk about this in increments. What helps you the most? Most people who've been betrayed feel like they wanted it yesterday. I wanted it yesterday, just give it to me all at once. So a lot of people who are betrayed, they want that information now. So they don't want to wait. But you need to figure out, is that what's best for you, for us, and discuss it. And if it is, do your best to give it to them. The other thing that somebody who's been betrayed would say, who's struggling with that answers, is they would say, I know this is hard for both of us. I know there's a balance in this, and it's really hard to achieve that. I need truth to feel safe, and you feel ashamed and overwhelmed in giving me that truth. Without help, our talks can turn into silence or even fighting. That doesn't mean that we're failing. It just means that that's a part of the healing journey. Sometimes healing is messy, and I need you to be strong even in those moments when we're failing or what feels like that we're failing. I need to be strong in those moments. The next thing they would say is, I need you to know that I'm not crazy for needing details. I'm not broken. My heart and my brain are trying to heal from this deep injury, this injury that's hurt me more than anything else has ever hurt me. Healing doesn't mean rushing forgiveness. It means rebuilding safety and understanding and giving me understanding at a pace I can survive. The other thing they would say is that this betrayal has left me confused and hurting. I can't heal by guessing what to do next. I need guidance and support. I don't want to do this alone. I don't have to. I want you to go get us help. And so they would say, reach out for help. Get help that makes healing safer and more possible to do this. So if you're in that boat wanting more help, healingbrokentrust.com, reach out to us online. We are available. We would love to help you. We would love to be a resource for you. So please reach out. We would love to support you in any way. We have workshops, we have programs to do that for you. The 11th thing that they would say is that I ask questions because my mind won't let me rest. It won't let me rest. It won't let me relax. It's just constantly going. Even when I try to stop thinking about it, my mind keeps going back. Questions pop up without warning. I'm not choosing this. It's happening to me. This is something that if I had the power to stop, I definitely would have stopped by now. These details that I'm asking of you, I really think that they would help me slow down if you just give them to me. I look at it as medicine. You see it as a knife, but if you give me the details, I feel like I can actually heal from this and move forward. And those are kind of things, again, the betrayed would say. Part of this is The average person who's been unfaithful sees talking about this and the details of this, they see it as a knife. They don't see it as helpful. They see it as, I'm giving you information that will hurt you, that will hurt us. I feel like I'm stabbing you with a knife. People who've been betrayed would say, no, you're giving me medicine. This is helping me. The knife has already been plunged. This is removing the knife from my chest, and you're helping me get better. So there's a natural tension that's there, natural difficulty that's there between both parties. The next thing that the betrayed would say is that not knowing the truth is really painful for me. Again, not knowing is worse. And when you don't answer, my imagination fills in the gaps, and it's almost always making things darker. The truth hurts, but guessing hurts even more because I always assume something that's worse. And when you actually tell me the truth, I find out it's not as bad as I thought it was. Again, they would say, after the affair, I questioned everything, our past, our memories. I even questioned myself. What did I not see? What do I need to see again in the future to prevent this from happening again? They would say, I need details to know what parts of our relationship were real and what parts were not. Without that, I feel lost. So when we went on that vacation, when we were at this point in our lives, I need to know what was real and not real. I can look at these family photographs and just feel like it was all a lie. It was all fake. And the other thing they would say is that my questions don't mean, me asking you these questions doesn't mean I want to stay stuck. I don't ask because I want to live in the pain forever. They would say I ask because I want to move forward. So understanding is a part of how I heal. It's not a sign that I'm refusing to let go. So this isn't me trying to live in the past. I know that looks that way because I'm talking about the past a lot, but I really view honesty as the tool that helps me move forward and helps me heal and helps me find resolution with this. The next thing they would say is that when you avoid details, it feels like you're still choosing yourself and choosing the affair partner over me. So when you won't answer, it feels like you're protecting your comfort instead of my healing. It feels like you're choosing the affair partner and not me. Even if that's not what you mean, it's how it lands. And it makes me feel alone again. So that is where people can get more hurt by this healing process we're supposed to be in when there's more dishonesty or a lack of effort in trying to be honest. The other thing that people who've been betrayed would say is, I need to know what I'm forgiving. I can't forgive something I don't understand. Without details, I don't know what I'm being asked to let go of. I need clarity, so I really know what I'm letting go of. I don't need confusion. I don't need murky waters. I need certainty. I don't need fear. I need to know what I'm really forgiving. Some would say I need to know what I'm actually healing from. I need to understand this so that when I do trauma therapy, I can actually understand what I'm healing from. If you feel that way, I wouldn't wait to do trauma therapy. I would go ahead and start trauma therapy. I would go ahead and start something like our workshop. I wouldn't wait for those things. Details, they would say, help me feel less crazy. After betrayal, I doubt myself all the time. I wonder if I'm overreacting or imagining things. But when you're honest with me, it helps ground me in reality and reminds me that my pain does make sense. So when you're there, it actually grounds me. It soothes me. And according to attachment theory, when we're honest like that, it does show that we're acting as a caregiver. I'm being honest. I'm helping you move forward. And you'll see that in other situations where people have been really hurt, in situations where families have had somebody murdered and the body is buried. If the perpetrator, the murderer, helps them identify where the body's at, they say that really brings a lot of closure to the family because they know where the body is at. The next thing, though, that the betrayed who's struggling with answers would say is that I'm not asking you these things to punish you. I'm not collecting details to use against you later. I'm asking because I'm hurt and I'm trying to heal. Please don't see my questions as attacks because they're not meant to be. They are really cries for safety and understanding. And that's really important. I'm asking these things because they're a cry for safety, for understanding, not to attack you. And that's where there can be this real tension in discussing the details of what's happened because the betrayed party, saying that, like, hey, this is not meant to attack you. It's a cry for help and understanding and security. The unfaithful party, though, they see that usually as, oh my gosh, you're attacking me. Oh my goodness, we're fighting again. Oh my goodness, we're having conflict. And usually the biggest emotional need of somebody who has an affair, before they have an affair and certainly after, just the kind of person who usually does this, their biggest emotional need is for an absence of conflict. They want peace. They want everybody to get along, everybody to be happy. So they'll bury what they feel. And that burying what they feel, unfortunately, may mean burying answers that we're asking for, burying needs that they have. So if we can help them understand, like, this is not about me punishing you. It's really a cry for help. It's a cry for safety. That's what I'm after. If they understand that, and then they don't feel punished when we're trying to be honest with them, it usually helps them be more open with this, especially if they feel like we're not going to use it against them or punish them with the answers. The next thing somebody who's been betrayed would say is that repeating questions doesn't mean that you failed. Me asking the same questions again and again doesn't mean I think you're actually lying to me or that you failed. Sometimes this is what they would say, sometimes I ask the same questions again and again because my brain hasn't settled yet. That doesn't mean you didn't answer well enough. It means my nervous system is still trying to feel safe. I'm still trying to sort this out. I'm still trying to make sense of this. And the more you help me with these things, the more ultimately I feel like I can relax, because I do feel like you're on my team and you're helping me. The next thing they would say is that details help me to decide my future honestly. I need the full picture to decide what's best for me, whether that's rebuilding, whether that's setting boundaries, or even walking away. You answering my questions and these details, they help me make choices based on what's true, not fear or even missing pieces or incomplete information. And when you give me all the facts, it helps me make a decision with all the information about what's happened. So that they really want those details, because it does help them decide their future. The next thing they would say is that when you say things like it doesn't matter or it's not that important, why do you want to know this? It actually causes me to feel dismissed. So when you tell me the details don't matter, it feels like you're deciding what I'm allowed to need. It makes me feel small and unheard. So what matters to my healing may not feel important to you, but it does matter to me. And so when you say things like, why does this matter? This isn't important. You're defensive, or you shut down, you stonewall, you minimize. All of that causes me to feel alone, maybe even abandoned. Certainly it causes me to feel alone in this and hurt in this. The next thing that the average person who's been betrayed, and what they would say when they struggle with not getting these answers, is they would say that the details do help me rebuild trust even when it hurts. So on the outside, when you see me hurting, on the inside, I'm feeling like we're actually making progress. So yes, trust was broken, but the honesty, even when it's painful, is how that trust starts to come back. It's how I start to trust you again, because I see you not as somebody who's lying anymore, but willing to do something that's really hard in difficult moments. Choose me and choose us, and not yourself or the affair partner again. So each honest answer helps show me that you're willing to be real instead of hiding. It shows me that you're putting in the hard work that it takes to heal from this. The next thing that the average person who's been betrayed would say is that I need consistency, not just one big, long conversation. They would say, just one talk about this isn't enough for me to feel safe. I really just need steady, consistent, honest answers. Steady, consistent, honest you without any gray, just black and white honesty over time. I need that consistently over time. And when details change or new things come out later, it resets my healing and it makes me feel betrayed all over again. It actually brings me back down to square one. And it feels like, gosh, what are we doing here? It causes me to lose hope. The next thing that the average betrayed person would say who's struggling, not getting the answers they need, is they would say, you know what, I'm still asking you all this because I still care. Part of me is still invested in this. Part of me still wants to make this work. I just need to know what I'm getting myself back into. If I didn't care about you or the relationship, I wouldn't ask anything at all. I would just go on my merry way. I wouldn't care. But these questions mean I'm still trying to understand and decide what's possible. What kind of future can we have together? Don't interpret silence, my silence, as I'm giving up. And then the final thing, the 25th thing, that the betrayed partner who's struggling without getting answers in their details answered, what they would say is that details help me know you're choosing honesty now. So when you're answering my questions openly, it helps me see that you're choosing truth now, not secrecy. That matters to me more than you being perfect. I need to see that things are different this time. I need to see that you're open with me, that you're vulnerable with me, that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And so when you're open and honest with me, it helps me feel safe and secure. It gives me hope, it gives me optimism. It helps me see that you're actually trying and that you're choosing me. So those are just a handful of things, about 25 things that we went through very quickly on what the betrayed would want the unfaithful to know about the details, why they're so important in getting those things answered. If this has been helpful for you, please like, please subscribe, please leave us a comment. We would love to see you come to one of our workshops. Every month we have couples come who find profound breakthroughs. So if you're struggling and you want a breakthrough, please come to one of our workshops. If you are new to healing from broken trust, I would urge you to come as well. I wouldn't wait until you feel like you're really struggling. I would come and learn what you can do to not struggle. This weekend with me and other members of our team, it's really designed to accelerate your healing so you can have profound breakthroughs so that you're not stuck in this mess forever. So if you feel stuck or you want to prevent getting stuck, please come. We'd love to help you. Reach out to us at healingbrokentrust.com. You can set an appointment just to kind of see if you're a right fit for our workshops. I'd love to see you. Love to see you there. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
I thought it was good to be with other couples and see that other couples are struggling with the same things that we've been struggling with. And so I thought that was important to hear other stories and kind of learn from that. It was reassurance that, I'm not crazy and that other people have dealt with the same things the same way that I've dealt with them.
I thought coming here and being submerged in it for a couple of days, being able to talk about this when we wanted to and really get through it has been really hard. So we got to do the workshop and then spend time together in the evenings, which was really helpful. I think coming in person was really important for us, for our situation. It was really applicable. It was learning about his pain and the hurt and seeing that in other couples as well. And I liked, learning about the why and being able to talk about that with him and share both sides of the road.
I think being the one who was hurt, the why is very important, and that gets you stuck in the negative for a long time if you can't understand how we got here and the things that contributed to that. And a lot of it is related to trauma and childhood stuff, and really digging down to that level to understand the factors that caused this and got us there was a huge help for me, because I just didn't know. It wasn't rational. It didn't make sense. Some of the things and decisions that she made to get to that point. And so hearing that was really important for me. I think trauma was the big learning lesson out of this, and I'm glad that we spent as much time as we did talking about trauma, and not only the factors that cause trauma, but also methods of treatment and, how to get through that trauma. And that really never occurred to us. You could go to all the couples counseling that you can get your hands on, but the reality is we were stuck in that world for so long, and not understanding why couples counseling wasn't helping us get through it. And understanding the trauma piece of all of this, I think, is a really important piece of the program to understand.
I agree. I just found it relatable, and like we were saying in the beginning, just looking at this room, like we came here and we're thinking, are we going to be the only ones here? I mean, you feel so alone, and like this doesn't happen as often as it actually does. And so hearing or seeing the room was actually filled and just all different stages of life. I think it helped, knowing what other people were going through and being able to pick up on things that maybe he hasn't been able to describe to me the same. I feel motivated. I was really motivated before, but just doing this together and being there for each other this whole weekend has really just recharged that a little more. It was really hard. I'm not going to say it was easy, but it sparked conversations that we needed to have, good and bad ones, and we were still able to enjoy each other and I think recommit to this moving forward. So I feel motivated, and I feel like I'm in a positive place right now.
And so it's just kind of a little snapshot of what work needs to be done in the future, for us moving forward. We're about 9 months past D-Day, and a lot of work has been done up to this point. And so, coming here after 9 months kind of felt like we dug up a lot of things and sort of reopened things, but, was kind of important for us too.
But in a healthy way, I feel like, rather than stumbling on it later. I would recommend this definitely to everyone.
Yeah, I think at any stage you can get a lot out of it. Right? You're just coming at it from a different viewpoint or perspective, depending on how long you've been on this journey. But there's a lot that you can get out of it. And, if you're still kind of working through the why, if you don't understand trauma, these are all really important things that you're going to get out of the program.
And come in person if you can, because I think seeing the emotion in the room and being able to just be here and not have distractions.
I think extremely important piece of this program is understanding the healer piece to all of this. And for me, being the one who was hurt and my partner needing to be the healer, not understanding that and not understanding kind of how they need to sort of approach us and help us work through that is really important. Because initially you want to keep your distance from that person, right? And that person was the one who hurt you deeply. And that person is really the only person that can repair it.
Mm-hmm. And having the tools to be able to do that properly. I mean, quite simply put, I would say the work is hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I think this event is sort of a turning point for us in our marriage. And once you get through this and understand these things about being the healer and, the why of how it happened and the underlying trauma and the trauma that comes out of that, these were all things that we didn't know, or just foreign concepts to us in our marriage. And I think learning from all of this, although it was a devastating thing for us and really almost broke us, we're both encouraged that the future is bright and positive, and we're going to be better out of this, and that's exciting to look forward to.
Have you been wondering how to break free from the affair once and for all? Now's the time to take back your life, your emotions, find happiness, joy, and fulfillment with your marriage. HealingBrokenTrust.com is the place where you can find resources to take the healing journey to the next level. You'll find incredible resources for every stage of your affair recovery journey. Connect with our team of qualified affair recovery therapists who stay current with the ever-growing, ever-changing affair recovery research that's available to help you heal wherever you are in the process. Take our home study course focused on helping you communicate and express yourself in a way that gets you what you want. You can also book an incredible one-on-one intensive retreat where instead of dragging out the pain over months or years, you can condense the time it takes to heal in just a matter of days using scientifically proven methods that work to help couples lower their guard, let go of the fear, melt the anger, and experience each other at a deep emotional level you may have never experienced before. So what are you waiting for? Go to healingbrokentrust.com. But don't take our word for it. Read the client letters and listen to the reviews on the healingbrokentrust.com website. So go to healingbrokentrust.com and we'll talk to you soon.